In this video, we are taking a look at these, the Brooks Adrenaline 22. What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. How are we all doing? Are you a Brooks fan? Are you one of those people out there who love Brooks? Because there's loads of you. Now, just as a caveat, right, and a bit of a heads up, if you're from Brooks and you're watching this video, watch the first bit, but probably don't watch the second bit, right? I'll put it in the chapters, and I might even label it, if you work for Brooks, don't watch this bit, okay? Just a bit of a spoiler alert, so you know when to stop watching, okay, if you're from Brooks. So there we go. Right, so let's start off with the stats and features of the Brooks Adrenaline 22. Okay, people, so here it is, the Brooks Adrenaline 22, the 22 version of this shoe. This is a stability shoe, and this is the updated version. This has got the Brooks guide rail technology on it as a medial side, lateral side. I'm getting mud all over the desk. They've tweaked a few bits on it, but it's subtle. Firstly, we've got a 12mm drop on the shoe. We've got full length DNA loft now in the midsole, which is sort of EVA rubberized compound from Brooks. We've got a yeah, slightly tweaked upper, and I would say straight off the box it's an improvement from the previous model. It's definitely a nice stretchy material now, a little bit more breathable. We've got a heel counter on the back. We've got a gusseted tongue. Fits true to size, and there's loads of width options from Brooks, so well done, Brooks. They've tweaked about with the outsole mildly. They've uncoupled a few bits, but there's loads of flex in there, and that will help you in terms of the transitioning of the shoe as you go through your gait. But the problem with the outsole is that it's very slippery and useless in sort of mild frost to ice. Now over here in the UK it's been very icy, and most shoes will probably struggle in some of the conditions, but on some of those frosty mornings where I've been running in this shoe, this has been useless, absolutely useless. But where it's got better in terms of it's not so cold and that in the morning, it's got a little bit better. So I can't judge 100% of my opinion on the outsole based on the conditions in the frost and stuff, because I think, to be honest with you, some shoes would have struggled as well. But just as a heads up, if you live anywhere that's got a little bit of frost and ice in the morning, don't buy the shoe because it's useless. Traditional lacing with the Brooks, as you'd expect, and I think that's about it. Okay, I didn't mention the price, it's $140. We've got an 11 point something ounce, so what's that, 314-ish grams in terms of weight. Again, that's slightly too heavy, I think, for a daily trainer, which is what this is from Brooks. But all stability shoes seem to be heavy, and I do think that is it on stats and features. Okay, so like I mentioned, this is useless in those sort of early mornings when it's a bit frosty and a bit icy. This seems to have quite a high arch in it. And the other thing that I did notice is it's quite firm. It does feel a pinch softer than the previous version, but it's still quite firm. It's not a particularly fun experience. It's not a particularly excitable experience. It doesn't really make you feel awesome. But what the shoe does do is it just eats miles. The transition's okay from heel to toe. I think, you know, it's not going to excite you, but it's okay. It's nothing like negative about the way the shoe feels in terms of the roll through the foot. It is comfortable. That's one thing about Brooks shoes. They are comfortable. You do have that nice feel when you step into them with all the foam and that they do add to it. It is built well. Brooks, one thing again that they do is they build their shoes very well. But, you know, this is just, it's just so boring. This is basically a Ghost with guide rails. So if you're a big fan of the Ghost running shoe, but you now need a stability shoe, or you're looking for a, what's the best way? Yeah, I think that's probably the best way to describe it. If you've been in a Ghost, but you now need a stability shoe, or you're looking for a stability shoe that's like the Ghost, then this is the way to go. This is basically a Ghost with guide rails, which I don't think it's a bad thing. Like I say, if you're a big fan of Brooks, then there's nothing here that you're going to dislike. I think you'll probably like the improvements in terms of the midsole, the upper, all that kind of stuff. But I say I was really annoyed about the outsole in the icy conditions. But as I say, I'm going to put that to one side because I think all shoes would have behaved like that. But it's just, yeah, it's just so dull. The New Balance 860 is better than this. The Mizuno Wave Inspire, I still stick by that, is a better shoe. And I know the Inspire 18's been delayed, but I can't wait to see what that comes out as, because I do believe it's going to be better than this. I think we get stuck into a problem with the Brooks shoes, that we've had them, so we keep going back to them. So my advice to you is don't immediately think that this is the solution because you need a stability shoe. There are other shoes out there from different brands, but I know you guys do like to keep going back to Brooks because they do exactly what it says on the tin. Okay, so to conclude before I go off on a tangent, Brooks Adrenaline 22, yeah, it's an improvement over the previous model, but does it really matter? No. To be honest with you, they could have put exactly the same model out, put 22 written on it, and people are going to buy loads of them. It's a stability shoe that does exactly what you want from it. The outsole slightly questionable for me, but it's comfortable and would do everything you want from a stability shoe. Okay, so if you work for Brooks, this is the point in which you switch off, right? Because this is going to be a bit of it's not a rant, and this is the part of the video where I'm going to talk about how awesome I want you to be this year, because I'm going to put some stuff up. Look at the Ghost over the years. Look at how much they've changed, and it's almost zero. I think Brooks, you are making shoes really that are uninteresting, uninspiring, not awesome, not sexy, and just, yeah, they're just so dull. Now, I appreciate that the build quality is incredible, and people own these things for like millions of years, and they do exactly what you'd expect from a sort of average running shoe, but you're better than that. Where is your sexy running shoes? Where is your shoes like the Takumi Sen 8, like the Nike Vaporfly, like the Asics Metaspeed Sky, like the New Balance SC range that's coming out at the end of the year, or like a daily trainer like the Rebel 2. The Hyperion Tempo was awesome, the Elite was okay, but there's nothing there that's like setting the pulses racing, and as runners now, we've got so much choice that you need to up your game. Look at what Puma are doing. Look what, you know, companies like Atreyu, where they've stripped it back to basics, are doing. You've got so much resource, you've got so many clever people working for you. You really need to up your game. Look what Asics did. They were like making shoes like you, look really boring, uninteresting, no one cared. And then they started smashing it out of the park with really cool like daily trains like the Glide Ride, the Evo Ride, and as I said about the Metaspeed Sky and those sort of shoes. You need to up your game. You need to start making shoes that people want to buy, not just because, oh, I've had about 8 pairs of them and they do a job. You want people to go, wow, I see the Run Happy team on Instagram, and okay, they're getting, you know, sent all this stuff and all this sort of stuff, but actually those shoes look awesome. Instead of like worrying about some jacket that lights up, who cares about that? Make a shoe that's sexy, that's awesome, that's fast, that's quick, that, you know, over the half marathon distance that you're going to want to wear. What shoe have you got, Brooks, over the half marathon distance that anyone really wants to wear? You ain't got one. What shoe have you got that I would want to run a 5k time trial in? There ain't one. Your marathon shoe, it's all right, but it ain't nothing special. Make something awesome. You know, your trail shoes, really? They look as dull as dishwater. You have got such potential. It can be incredible, but you've got to get yourself out of the 80s. Now, I like the 80s, but you've got to step it up, because we deserve it and we need it. We need Brooks to up your game. We need you to come back and start making awesome shoes and start kicking other people off the field that we've been turning to, because basically your shoes are just dull. But like I say, this is not me having a go at Brooks. This is me challenging Brooks. And if you're still watching from Brooks, I challenge you to make awesome shoes this year. Send them to me, and I'll give you an honest feedback. Is this any good? Is this an improvement? Are you still stuck in the 80s? Because I want to see you back to where you were, which is making really good shoes for everyday runners. And that's why I kind of wanted to make the video, or this last bit, because it's a call out to you at Brooks to come back fighting, to come back and give us everyday runners what we need. Something that's sexy, that's awesome, that's exciting, that you know with Brooks that will last for a long time, that is built properly, and is of a high quality and is comfortable. So come back fighting, Brooks. Give me a shout, send it to me, send it to other shoe tubers out there, I don't really care. But just come back fighting. So there we go. I say the start of the video was an Adrenaline 22 review, and just as a heads up, I think I've done 30, maybe more miles in the shoe over a couple of weeks that I've had it. It might be more than that, but I kind of got bored of running in it now. It's just like, it's just so dull. It's just, that's what I'm trying to say. When I look at it, and I go in the garage to pick the shoes I'm going to run in, right? If I've got a day that I don't have to wear shoes because I'm trying to review it, whatever. If I saw the Brooks up there, I would not pick it. Then that's the problem you've got, Brooks. Most normal people now don't pick it. They pick the Brooks because that's what they've been given their whole life. But there's so many better shoes out there. And I think that's hopefully what I'm trying to get across. Let me know in the comments, do you agree, disagree? I know so many people love Brooks, and I dig it, right? It's everybody's opinion, so, you know, I've got no problem with that. But that's the way I feel about Brooks at the moment. I wanted to share it. I wanted to get it out there because I have been cheekily having a go, slightly, at Brooks over the last couple of months, and I wanted to put it down just to tell you where I'm at on Brooks. But that's it. That was a bit of a weird review of the Adrenaline 22, wouldn't you agree? But anyway, there you go. I'll catch you later.